Hello everyone, I hope you're having a wonderful day. In today's episode, Na brings baby Henry to the starch factory at lunchtime with warm food, hoping for a simple, normal visit. But across the road, a stranger sits too long, watching the gate with a phone in his hand. Alex doesn't create chaos. He stays calm, gathers facts, shifts the workflow quietly, and sends Na home safely without turning fear into the main story. If you enjoy slice-of-life stories where danger is handled with steady thinking, don't forget to subscribe. Let's begin. Na arrived at the starch factory a little before lunch, carrying Henry in a snug wrap and a small bag that smelled faintly of ginger and warm rice. She wasn't here to help in a big way. She was here to keep things simple, bring something warm for Alex and Lan, check in, then go home before Henry's nap window slipped away. The yard outside the factory had that steady weekday rhythm again. A forklift moved slowly near the warehouse door. Two workers washed their hands at the outdoor sink. Someone laughed at something small, then returned to sorting sacks. Lan met Na at the office entrance, her expression softening when she saw the baby. "He's awake," she whispered. "Barely," Na replied, smiling. Henry blinked up at Lan's face, then rested his cheek against Na's chest. Lan guided her to a quiet corner inside the office area where the air was cleaner and the noise was lower. A chair sat beside a small table, and a thermos of warm water was already there. Lan didn't make a show of it. She simply pointed. "You can sit here," she said. "If he sleeps, let him sleep." Na nodded and eased onto the chair, keeping her movements slow. Henry's eyelids fluttered and began to sink. Na adjusted the edge of his hat and watched his breathing soften into a steady rhythm. Through the open doorway, she could see the factory floor and the warehouse yard. Alex was moving between stations with his usual quiet focus, not hovering, just checking. He spoke to one worker, then another, his gestures small, precise. A few minutes later, Alex stepped into the office area and spotted Na immediately. His gaze went to Henry first, then to her. "You came," he said, voice low. Na lifted the bag slightly. "Just something warm, for you and Lan." Alex took the bag and set it on the table with care. "Stay 5 minutes," he said. "Then I'll walk you out." Lan returned to her desk and opened a ledger, tapping a few lines with her pen. "Raw intake looks fine," she said to Alex. "But I want to recheck the timestamps from yesterday's deliveries, just to keep everything clean." Alex nodded. "Do it." Na listened quietly, not trying to insert herself. She understood enough now to hear what mattered. Keep records clean, keep changes verified, keep the rhythm steady. Henry slept. The office felt quieter because of it. Even Lan lowered her voice when she spoke. Alex sat on the edge of Lan's desk for a moment, reading a note she slid toward him. His phone buzzed once, and he ignored it. He looked more interested in the paper, in the people in front of him, than any screen. Na watched him and felt a small wave of pride she didn't try to hide. He was the same man at home, the same careful hands, the same calm voice. The only difference here was the number of people depending on that calm. Around noon, the yard outside shifted into lunch rhythm. Machines quieted. Workers wiped their hands, stretched their backs, and carried their bowls to a shaded area. The factory didn't stop, but it softened. That was when Lan stood and walked toward the window. She wasn't being dramatic. She was doing what she always did during breaks, checking the yard, checking who came in, making sure nothing looked off. Her eyes moved across the gate, the road, the small tea stall across the street where drivers sometimes stopped for a quick drink. Then she paused. Na shifted Henry slightly, making sure his face stayed tucked and warm. She kept her expression neutral because babies read tension in faster than words. She watched Lan's shoulders, the way they held still, and she understood something was wrong before anyone spoke today at all. At first, Na didn't notice. She was focused on Henry's breathing, the rise and fall against her chest. but she felt Lan's stillness like a change in temperature. She looked up. Lan's gaze was fixed across the road. A man sat at the tea stall, not eating, not talking much. His posture looked casual, but his attention wasn't. He kept turning his head toward the factory gate. His phone was in his hand, held low, then lifted slightly, then lowered again. The motion repeated, almost like a habit. Lan leaned closer to the glass without pressing her face to it. "Do you see him?" she asked Alex softly. Alex stood immediately, moving to the window with the same quiet speed he used when something mattered. He didn't stare too long. He took in the details, then looked away briefly, as if refusing to give the man the satisfaction of being noticed. Tuna's stomach tightened. She didn't know the man, but she recognized the feeling. Someone watching, not openly enough to confront, but long enough to make you uneasy. She kept her body calm so Henry wouldn't wake, but her eyes stayed on the tea stall. The man lifted his phone again. The angle faced the factory gate, then shifted toward the yard. It could have been nothing, but the repetition made it feel intentional. Lan spoke very quietly. "He keeps doing that." Alex's face didn't change much, but his eyes sharpened. "Don't alert the floor," he said. "No noise." Lan nodded immediately. "I won't." Alex turned to her. "Write down the time, where he's sitting, what he looks like, clothes, hair, anything, quietly." Lan reached for her notebook, pen already steady. She didn't ask why. She trusted the process. Tuna swallowed and forced her shoulders to stay relaxed. Henry sighed in his sleep. Tuna pressed her cheek lightly to his hat, grounding herself. She didn't want to turn this into fear. She wanted to follow Alex's calm. Alex glanced at Tuna, and his voice softened just slightly. "You okay?" Tuna nodded once. "I'm okay. Henry is sleeping." "Good," Alex said. "Stay here. Don't move yet." Lan began writing, the exact minute, the position, the repeated phone movement. She did it like she did everything else, clean, factual, controlled. Outside, the lunch break continued. Workers ate and stayed unaware. Across the road, the man remained at the tea stall, phone in hand, eyes drifting back toward the gate, waiting for something. And inside the office, Alex kept his voice low and his posture steady, as if his calm alone could hold the day in place while they decided the next step. Alex didn't move like a man looking for a fight. He moved like a man protecting a routine. He stepped away from the window first, forcing himself not to stare. Then he looked at Lan. "Keep writing," he said quietly. "No gaps." Lan nodded, pen steady. She didn't look frightened. She looked focused, which was better. Tuna remained still in the chair, Henry warm and asleep against her chest. She kept her breathing slow on purpose. Her body wanted to tense, but she refused to let the tension enter Henry's sleep. Alex lowered his voice even further. "If he leaves, note the direction. If he stays, we change our exposure." Lan wrote, phone raised, phone lowered, eyes to gate, repeat. Alex walked to the office door and looked out into the yard without making a show of it. The lunch area was calm. Workers ate, talked, laughed softly. Nothing needed to change on the surface. That was the point. Panic was expensive. He came back in and spoke to Lan in short, practical sentences. "Move the next loading check to the inside bay, not near the gate, and tell the team it's for efficiency." Lan nodded. "I can do that." "Do it now," Alex said. Lan stood and left the office with her notebook in hand. She walked normally, not fast, not nervous, as if she was going to do any other task. Tuna watched her go and admired the control. Alex remained with Tuna. He crouched slightly so his voice wouldn't carry. "Do you want to go home now?" Tuna hesitated. Henry slept deeply. Moving him could wake him. But staying here made her feel like she was exposing him to a place she couldn't fully control. "I can go," Tuna said softly. "If you think it's better." Alex nodded. I'll walk you out when Lan finishes the adjustment. Tuna didn't argue. She shifted Henry carefully, testing whether he would stir. Henry only sighed, still asleep. A few minutes later, Lan returned. Done, she said quietly. The team thinks it's normal. Alex nodded. Good. Lan sat again and looked through the window one more time, just a brief check. He's still there. Alex's eyes narrowed slightly, not in anger, in calculation. Okay. He didn't go outside. He didn't point. He didn't wave anyone over. He made one call instead, not to the police, not yet, but to someone local who knew the area. His voice stayed calm. Can you walk past the tea stall across from my factory? Just casually. Look at the man sitting there with a phone. See how he reacts when someone notices him. He listened for a second, then said, Yes, thank you. He ended the call and put the phone away. Tuna watched his face. You're not confronting him. Alex shook his head. If he wants attention, I won't give it. I want information. Tuna nodded, understanding. This wasn't fear. This was strategy that still respected the calm of the workplace. Henry stirred then, a small grunt, eyes half opening. Tuna rocked him gently, whispering, It's okay, until he settled again. Alex looked at Henry and softened for a moment. Then he returned to the window, not directly, only from the side. The man across the road still sat in the same spot, phone in hand, posture pretending to be casual. The repetition continued. A message came in from Alex's local contact. He noticed me. He left immediately, walked toward the back alley. Alex read it once, then showed Lan without comment. Lan nodded, face tight but controlled. So he wasn't just resting. No, Alex said simply. Lan closed her notebook. I saved the notes? Good, Alex replied. Keep them. He turned to Tuna. We go home now. Tuna nodded. She lifted Henry carefully, gathered the diaper bag and stood slowly. Alex carried her small food bag and walked close beside her. He didn't rush her. He watched the yard and the road at the same time, keeping his movements normal. Outside, the workers were still in lunch rhythm. Alex didn't make it bigger than it was. He waved at one worker casually and said, Back to work in 10, like any other day. He guided Tuna to the car, buckled Henry in gently, and checked the strap twice. His hands were steady. His eyes were alert. Tuna slid into the seat and looked back at the factory gate. It looked normal. The street looked normal. That was what made the watching feel more dangerous, because it could hide inside normal. Alex started the car and drove slowly, not fast enough to invite attention. On the road, Tuna didn't speak at first. She watched Henry's face in the mirror. Henry slept again, unaware. After a few minutes, Tuna said softly, Do you think it's Dewey? Alex didn't answer with certainty. I don't know, but I know it wasn't random. Tuna nodded. What do we do? Alex's voice stayed low. We do what we always do. We keep routines steady. We don't share schedules. We verify everything. And we don't walk into traps. Tuna's chest tightened, then eased. His calm was contagious. When they arrived at Tuna's place, Alex parked close. He helped her carry the bag inside and waited until Henry was laid down safely. He didn't walk around checking locks or gates. He didn't turn the home into a security drill. He only looked at Tuna and spoke simply. Keep the gate closed, and he said, If anyone lingers outside, you don't talk at the gate. You call me. Tuna nodded. Okay. Alex's gaze softened. Don't let this steal your day. Tuna swallowed. I won't, but I'll be careful. That's enough, Alex said. He stepped back, waited until Tuna was inside, then left quietly. Back at the factory, Lan followed Alex's instruction without drama. She reminded the team of the verified channels rule like it was routine maintenance. Alex returned to the office and filed Lan's notes. He didn't call it a crisis. He called it information. The day continued. Machines hummed, people worked, and beneath the normal rhythm, Alex kept a new line of attention running, quietly, steadily, protecting the peace without letting fear become the boss.
Từ Na đến nhà máy tinh bột của Alex vào khoảng giờ ăn trưa, mang theo đồ ăn nóng và Henry. Cô ngồi một góc yên tĩnh trong khi Lan và Alex tiến hành kiểm tra định kỳ. Lan để ý thấy có một người lạ mặt ở quán trà bên kia đường, liên tục chĩa điện thoại về phía cổng nhà máy. Cô lặng lẽ báo cho Alex. Alex giữ cho nơi làm việc bình tĩnh, yêu cầu Lan ghi lại chi tiết và chuyển quy trình bốc xếp hàng hóa vào sâu bên trong sân để giảm tầm nhìn mà không gây hoang mang cho công nhân. Anh tránh đối đầu, sử dụng một người quen để quan sát và xác nhận người đàn ông nhanh chóng rời đi khi bị phát hiện, cho thấy hành vi này không phải ngẫu nhiên. Sau đó Alex bình tĩnh đưa Tử Na và Henry về nhà, đưa ra những hướng dẫn an toàn đơn giản mà không biến ngôi nhà thành nơi hoảng loạn và quay trở lại làm việc. Nhà máy tiếp tục hoạt động bình thường, nhưng Alex và Lan thắt chặt các quy tắc kiểm tra và ghi chép lại, cho thấy sự bình yên được bảo vệ thông qua cấu trúc yên tĩnh chứ không phải nỗi sợ hãi.